Morning, everyone, and welcome to our time together and everyday prosperity wisdom. I'm Lori Lamantia, and I'm here with the wonderfully wonderful Trisha Fisk.
Good morning, everybody.
Two wonderfuls today. And today, our topic is we're calling this Weird Grace. And it's really about embracing the things of life that come to us in ways that we probably wouldn't have asked, but are presented to share with us something about ourselves, help us explore something that we might not have taken the time to look at, and to release maybe something that we might not have done but or whatever. There's so many things, and I do believe life is always working for our highest and best good. We are loved beyond measure. So the things that come to us in our day-to-day life, whether we bring them through or they show up, are part of our beautiful journey and we get to learn from them, we get to grow from them, we get to have so much receiving of different gifts that we probably might not have orchestrated on our own. And so, Tricia, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can add to this, and then I think you're going to tell a story.
Right. I have a story of I had a cat pass last at the end of last year. And I have another cat, Beezy, but I've always had two.
Mhm.
And so I waited a little bit and then I decided I wanted to get another cat. And I went to the Humane Society and brought home a little girl cat. She's about 8 months old. And she absolutely hated my cat Beezy. She attacked him several times and not in a playful, let's tussle kind of a way, but
I'm
in
going to
a
destroy you.
right, exactly, right. Um, and so I consulted with the Humane Society, all their recommendations. Um, I called the vet's office, all their recommendations. I went to a cat behaviorist
Mhm.
and we did all her suggestions. And then finally, stuff still wasn't changing. And I still had to keep the cats separate in separate places. I couldn't let them be together. So I went to, I consulted a theta healer. Um, and the theta healer communicate, and her specialty was dealing with animals, and she herself told me she has like 7 cats, so she
Qualified.
right, she speaks, if you will, to each of the cats and kind of understands what their issues are, and then gave me some more suggestions for how to introduce them together. And that didn't work either.
Mhm.
So it the advice I was getting was if I was going to keep them both, I was going to have to keep them separate. They weren't going to peacefully live together. And I live in a condominium. And so that meant having a door closed all the time
Right.
somewhere in my house. And it just made it really challenging and not peaceful here.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
whichever cat was in the room with a closed door could hear the other cat and me outside here and wanted to be, so there was
Mhm.
always some kind of crying going on too, which is pretty tough to put up with. So I made the decision that I couldn't keep her, sweet as she is, and I totally love her. But the day after I made that decision, my niece, who just recently moved into her own apartment, said she really wanted to get a cat.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
boom, I said, boy,
Right.
do I, yeah. And so, yeah, she came over and she had met Gemma before. She'd been here a couple of times and helped me with some of the introduction things we were doing. I had Gemma in a harness with a leash on for a little
Mhm.
while to come into
Right.
the other room. So if she tried to attack Beezy, we could pull the leash back. And Leah had helped me with that. So Leah came and took Gemma home to her house yesterday. And
Mhm.
it's sad. I mean, I'm sad. She's just a little sweetheart.
Mhm. I
But
keep thinking
uh,
about Gemma. Go ahead, finish yours.
yeah, I was going to say, but I know she's going to be loved and well taken care of and
Right.
spoiled, all that good stuff, right?
And it felt like Gemma finally, through a weird grace, Gemma found her forever home. It wasn't how you had planned it. It wasn't
Right.
how, you were hoping it would go, but through whatever, and you got to experience her, and now you're going to be able to visit her, and now she's in a wonderful home for her.
Right. She's not behind a closed door anymore.
Right.
And my niece has been sending me pictures and she's already, she's already taken over the house,
Right. Yeah,
the
this is my, and that's
apartment,
she
right?
needed this is my domain. And then
Right.
I do want to go back because so that's one aspect of word grace. I think how life moves and flows through us. And it doesn't matter if it's a cat or another human being, there's always this, magical unfoldment that gets when as we're going through it, it feels like, what? Why is this happening? But as we get to the end or to a different place, we can look back and go, "Oh, I see." And I think that's one of the great mysteries of life and one of the things we're really trying to learn how to embrace.
Right. And the other thing that I feel is so valuable from this is I do every time she was in my bedroom. So every time I walk into my bedroom, I do get a little teary and I'm giving myself permission to mourn her being gone and to mourn that the space being empty and her not racing around and
Right.
because those young little cats, they get the zoomies and they go crazy charging around everything, and it's okay to go in there and look at the spot that she loved to hang out in and cry. It's
Mhm.
okay to do that too, and um
Well,
because
oh, go ahead.
yeah, I would like to try it again, and my thought is I really need to mourn her.
First, right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I do, one of the other reasons why we were going to call this Weird Grace, and I don't know if you're comfortable talking about, but she also, while she was there, gave you a gift because you did work with the Theta healer and you did
Mhm.
experience, your own healing, which was kind of, now looking back, it was another gift on the way to, as a part of this whole journey.
Yes, yes. So the theta healer was kind of doing an energy check with me, and she said I had a lot of strings attached to me. Some of them beautiful and white light, but some of them were gray meaning an attachment, holding on to something that's not serving me.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't part of the issue with the cats. Like I
Mhm.
wasn't causing any of the turmoil because I know I got kind of nervous when they were in the room together. And, she said they can feel that you're nervous
Mhm.
too. So I asked her to she asked for permission to clear my energy. And I said yes. And um, when she was finished, I took one of the longest, deepest, clearest breaths I have in a really long time. And I felt I shared with you like I was about 30 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd been holding on to a lot of stuff that isn't mine and
Mhm.
without even realizing it. Right. And that led to a discussion of, you know, in yoga, I teach classes where we do asana practice, but we also do pranayama and we meditate. And when people are letting go of stuff, it's in the room
Mhm.
until it has time to dissipate. And I don't think I ever thought about that much, that it's pretty easy if I'm not protecting myself to take on other people's stuff that so is not my stuff. And
Right.
right,
Yeah.
right. Because
Right.
it's all in that same space. It's there until it
Right.
dissipates. So yeah, so that in itself, again, another weird blessing
Mhm.
to learn that, and to start to protect myself more.
Right, and
that
clear
that
yourself too, right?
yeah, clear myself off, that it's beautiful to offer that space for people to let go of stuff, but we all need to make sure we're not taking on anybody else's stuff.
Right. Right,
Right.
that letting it flow through. And I think the reason why we're spending this kind of time with this topic is because there's things that come up in our life every day. And some of us were like, why is this happening? Because you, in your heart of hearts, wanted a lovely new kitty. I mean, which is so
Right.
beautiful. And then, maybe she was just there to like caused some turmoil. So you've dealt with this, these attachments and you cleared it. And then I remember really when we were talking, you were saying, and I'm open to whatever the next thing is. If it's they learn to be together, which you kind of realize they wouldn't, I'm open to Gemma going. Open to my other cat going, whatever that is in the highest and best good of us all. And then along came your niece.
Right.
And I do, and I, it, I think these are the most beautiful ways if we can learn how to see them as the grace they are, weird as it is. And we can see that there's nothing, that life is always facilitating our evolution and serving us in a beautiful way. It really does help shift the stuff from why did this happen to me? I'm a victim. I should have been a better, manifester, whatever, to, oh, I can lean into the great, weird grace of life. It's juicy and it's unexpected and it can be in your face sometimes, but it's also got such blessings and it's always serving us, I guess, is what I really want to say. And it's something I keep trying to teach myself because the old me wanted to say you have to manage it. You did something wrong. Why weren't
Right.
you better at, whatever weird things we attack ourselves in our own mind with instead of, hey, no biggie. Let's flow through this. Let's clear it. Let's find a new home, whatever it is. And there's always that bigger brilliance going on that I think we forget about. And
Yeah.
that's our big opportunity is how is this serving me? What am I learning? Where is the grace? Because there's love for me. So somehow it's happening. And when we're in the middle of the unfoldment, it's sometimes a little hard to mine the gold of it, but there's gold there.
Right. Right. And well, I'd like to share my other story that happened this week too. Was I have a neighbor who's in his 90s, really sweet guy, and we kind of check on each other every couple of days if we don't see each other. We each have a key to each other's place just in case. And it was garbage day, and he's always the first one to have his garbage can out, always. And when I took my garbage cans out and I didn't see his, I knew something was wrong. So I knocked on the door and went in, and I found him on the floor, was able to
Mhm.
call 911 right away. And he is still alive. He's still alive. He's in the hospital. And that was that was a blessing too. I mean, we have no idea how long he was on the floor, but
Mhm.
if I hadn't gone in and found him, he probably would have been there for days and passed.
Right.
So yeah, and I know he has a daughter, and she lives in Florida. So right, his friends were contacted and able to get in touch with his family. So
I
um,
just think it's so, what a beautiful story again. And I'm sure when you were going through it, it's like, all the alarms and bells go off and whatever the outcome was, I mean, it was a beautiful outcome and he's recovering, which is, I mean, beautiful. But trusting that maybe life had orchestrated that we were supposed to be the ones to find them,
mm,
I mean, there's so many ways we can't understand, and if I just think that sometimes our energies are needed in places we might not have gone, but somehow life
right,
gets us to go there.
right, right, yes,
So there's so
yeah,
much, I just feel like I said, I'm really trying to see and teach myself how to see the beauty and unexpected magic and um, wonder that goes into everything that's happening in our lives. It might seem it is grace, but I want to call it weird because
Weird
it's
grace, right?
because it's not necessarily how we would unfold it.
Right. It's not necessarily things we would choose to learn
Right,
lessons with,
right,
right?
right. Or
Right.
it's all serving us. And lately I've been noticing it's much kinder and gentler than what I would come up with. Like you getting cleared. I mean, that clearing could happen in a lot other ways that weren't as kind and gentle, right?
Right, right. It was
Um,
very sweet and gentle. Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
Gemma, you got to hug her and love her. I mean, as far as clearing of icky junkles, it was pretty expedient and pretty generous. And you got to hang out with a cute little kitty for 3 months, even though she was.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I just really appreciate when life graces us in easier ways. And I think as we become more conscious, and maybe this is just a hope I haven't fully, I think as we become more conscious and we are more available, we don't have to get whacked over the head with stuff, you
I'd
know?
like to believe that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that yes, I don't need the big whack. I can take the little nudge, nudge, nudge and learn and grow and develop and hold it and expand instead of having the dope slap, the life
Right.
because things do sometimes I don't know. I won't even put it in the space. Clear, cancel, delete. I think life is always sharing opportunities with us for fuller expansion into our amazing divinity.
Yes. And I mean, if we really believe that, then it it's just not possible that these lessons are supposed to punish us for everything. I mean,
Never.
right, right. These
I,
lessons are to open us up more,
this
to open
weekend,
our
yes,
hearts, right?
absolutely. It's all about expanding into our magnificence. I totally agree. I was going to say this weekend, I was after meditation because I've been using the word unlimited a lot. I use it a lot and unconditional. I'm trying to teach, unconditional. And then I got this word popped in and it's like, and intelligent. It's unconditional and intelligent,
Mm,
more intelligent than any of our little brains could even imagine. And I don't know, adding intelligent to unconditional gave, it took the randomness out of unconditional. If we can lean into that intelligence, weird grace just becomes grace, because our mind wouldn't go, well, that was weird. It would go, oh, that's the way intelligence operates. Optimal efficiency, optimal brilliance, optimal orchestration, just really efficient and beyond our capability of comprehending, I really feel.
right, right. No, I would second that. I believe that as well. It is intelligence. I like that. I hadn't thought of it, but I'm with you 100% on
It does
that.
feel like
Yeah.
intelligence, right? The way
Yeah.
it
Yes.
orchestrates things and the way, if we listen, we become part of a magic, like you with your neighbor. You listened, you're like, something's up. I'm gonna just go check on him, knock on the door, open the door. He could have been making lunch and you're like, come on in and have lunch.
Right.
You never know, but trust it. And I do think as we become conscious creators, trusting that intelligence and trusting ourselves as we flow with it, that just feels like the way heaven on earth would be. It would be a gracious, beautiful unfolding with simple, easy. It becomes easier and sweeter instead of harsh and punishing, like you were saying.
Right.
I think the harsh and punishing is trying to leave. It's just we have to let that go. Those stories about, the hero's journey, and people having to go through such tough stuff. Yeah, but I think now we're starting to get into more simple grace learnings instead of the harsh ones. I mean, maybe we don't have to be so harsh anymore. I don't know. I hope. That's where we're headed.
I hope so too.
That's what I'm holding space for. And I'm okay with weird. I take weird over harsh any day.
Right. Weird grace over chaos any day. Yes.
Yes. But even that, if we lean into the intelligence, has it's got if there's some kind of efficiency and brilliance in that too.
Mm,
I don't know that I would never understand it, but as I lean into it more and more in my life, I have to say there's something even beyond my comprehension about its intelligence, efficiency, and unconditionalness that is doing the best with what we are willing to participate in.
lovely. Lovely.
So I hope
All
everybody's
right.
starting to feel, right? How would you wrap this up?
Number one, everything happening in your life is meant to bring you closer to your divinity. And number two, allow yourself to feel honestly your feelings as you go through these lessons. Don't try to smother it or cover it up. Don't lie about being happy if you're crying.
Mm,
Yeah. So
yes,
just,
your truth.
yeah, lean into it. Yes.
Yeah. And then open the drains of your feet or do what you need to do. Let it flow through you. Be a conduit for the energy to flow. And then really let it go. Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't spend any more time reworking it in your mind over and over. Don't integrate it into yourself. Let it move through you and be served by it. Take the lesson, whatever it is, or take how did this serve me? Maybe then, and it cleared me, it freed me, it saved time. I don't know. And then move on in clarity and freedom from it. Cut the gray cords.
Right.
And then you're available for the next flow moment and the next flow moment, which we'll call grace.
Yes.
We'll call love. We'll call unlimited. We'll call magical. We'll call intelligent. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weird grace as it pours in. Mine the gold of it, understand and feel it, and then keep moving forward in life.
Yes. Grace and blessings to all.
Yes. Namaste, everyone.